A shocking discovery inside a car in Sandy tonight. Police now trying to piece together how a man died.
And they want to know why his body was left outside an apartment complex for days. They made the discovery on Riverside Drive near the River Oaks Golf Course in Sandy. Fox 13's Lauren Steinbrecher is there tonight to explain how neighbors tipped off police. Lauren.
Yeah, Bob, so it started with the car that was parked on this street. You can see the orange markings behind me where that car was at. Not too unusual because there are cars that park up and down this street. But this morning, somebody noticed a weird smell, prompting that call to police. It's not unusual to see cars line this street. Outside an apartment complex, an extra spot for parking. But what Troy Scholl saw Monday wasn't usual.
The windshield was kind of smashed a little bit, like someone threw a rock at it or something.
A car that clearly did not belong.
I noticed there was no plates and kind of flies were swarming the back of the trunk, and kind of looked around, you know, like that's kind of odd. Thought, oh, somebody probably stole the car and left it there.
He figured he'd see if the car was still there Tuesday before calling police, but another neighbor beat him to it. To Troy's surprise.
And then I heard through the grapevine, they're like, hey, you remember that car, that car we saw last night? Like, yeah, there was a dead body. And they're like, oh, wow.
Pretty suspicious, police say.
At this point, we don't know if the male crawled back there on his own, if it was an accidental death, drug overdose, or if there was foul play.
They aren't sure if the middle-aged man was the owner of the car, how the car ended up here, or how he ended up in the trunk, or why.
We didn't determine any immediate cause of death. There was no trauma that would lead us to a cause of death at this point.
As they figure it out, it's freaky for Troy to think he noticed something unusual. Just never would have guessed how unusual.
And I know that road is a dead end down that way, and kind of just, I didn't think there'd be a dead body in there, but thought it was weird.
One thing that police are trying to figure out is the timeline of all of this. They believe that body was inside that trunk for at least a few days. The neighbor who called them thinks that car was here for a few days, but Troy said he did not notice that car until last night was the first time that he saw it parked here. Live in Sandy, Lauren Steinbrecher, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Lauren, thank you so much. So far, police do know the car is registered in Utah, but they are still investigating if the man found inside was the owner.